Welcome to The Explainer. We are jumping right in today because we've got a wild one for you. We're unpacking a high-stakes, fictional crime drama that is heavily inspired by real-world financial investigations. We're going to break down the entire anatomy of a massive trading fraud scheme, how it was built, how it operated completely in the shadows, and ultimately how investigators brought the whole shebang crashing down.
Now picture this for a second. You wake up, grab your morning coffee, check your portfolio, and boom, billions of dollars have seemingly vanished from the stock market overnight. Imagine the sheer panic. Investors are freaking out, trading screens are flashing bright red, and federal investigators are scrambling to figure out what on earth just happened. That nightmare scenario is exactly what sets the stage for our explainer today, where one incredibly powerful financial executive suddenly finds himself accused of running one of the biggest trading fraud schemes in recent memory.
All right, part one, the rising star.
So for years, this guy named Ethan Carter was absolutely celebrated as one of America's brightest trading prodigies. He ran a wildly successful firm in New York, and he was constantly on business TV. His whole pitch? He promised extraordinary returns using, get this, advanced AI algorithms. It sounded super cutting edge, it sounded flawless, and honestly, it created the ultimate investment illusion. And people bought it, thousands of them. We're not just talking Wall Street insiders here, we're talking pension funds, everyday business owners, retirees trusting him with their nest eggs, and even high-profile celebrities. They all poured millions in. On the surface, everything looked perfect. But as we're about to see, that perfection was totally hollow.
Which brings us to part two, the first warning. So how does a house of cards like this start to wobble? Well, it happened during what was supposed to be a completely routine audit one random Monday morning. Federal regulators noticed something off. Actually, scratch that. It wasn't just off, it was a massive, impossible anomaly. When they compared the timing of Carter's trades against public corporate announcements, the math literally didn't add up. Millions of shares were being aggressively bought just seconds before major market-moving news went public. The timing wasn't just lucky, it was suspiciously perfect. And every single one of these hyper-timed trades was pulling in enormous profits.
And timing that perfect, that instantly raises the absolute biggest red flag in finance: insider trading. In plain English, that's buying or selling a stock based on material, non-public information. You're basically trading on a secret before the rest of the world even has a clue. But, suspecting a crime and actually proving it in court are two very different things, especially with an operation this slick. To actually prove it, a special financial crime cyber task force had to be called in. They started digging through thousands of emails, encrypted texts, and complex bank records, and what they found was wild. This wasn't just Ethan Carter going rogue. It was a massive, secretive network. You had company executives, shady tech consultants, pro traders, and a whole web of offshore shell companies spread out all over the globe. Each piece of this puzzle had one specific job: hiding and moving illegal money across borders to make the trail virtually invisible.
Moving on to part three, market manipulation.
As if the insider trading wasn't bad enough, right? Investigators soon uncovered something even more ruthless. This network wasn't just quietly trading on secrets. They were actively manipulating the market to manufacture their own wins. It was a classic pump and dump scheme, and it worked in three brutal steps. Step 1. Spread fake news, use anonymous social accounts, and drop misleading reports to engineer total market panic. Step 2. Let that panic drive the stock price into the ground and then swoop in to buy shares dirt cheap. Step 3. Release positive news to pump the price back up and sell for a massive payout. Meanwhile, millions of everyday investors were left holding the bag.
Now for part 4, the tipping point.
Every complex machine has a weak point. And despite all the fancy encrypted apps and international shell games, the real threat came from inside the building. Enter Sarah, a young financial analyst at the firm. She started digging into some irregular accounting records and realized a terrifying truth. The investment returns they were reporting did not match real market performance at all. Client statements were being completely fabricated. So, realizing how massive this fraud was, she bravely copied internal documents and secretly reached out to federal authorities.
Sarah's tip literally threw gas on the fire. It kicked off a rapid, months-long undercover sting. We're talking hidden cameras, encrypted phone taps, the works. Federal agents even posed as wealthy investors to get inside the firm's exclusive program. They secretly recorded private closed-door meetings where top executives were just openly discussing their illegal market manipulation tactics. The trap was officially set.
Part 5, billions at stake.
Boom. 6 a.m. on a Wednesday, the feds execute a massive coordinated strike. They surround the offices, yank the servers offline, and seize the computers. Employees are just standing there in shock, while agents haul out boxes of evidence. News choppers are overhead, broadcasting the whole downfall live. Luxury cars get towed. Bank accounts are frozen solid. And the sheer scale? Staggering. We're talking billions of dollars over several years. Prosecutors absolutely threw the book at them. Securities fraud, insider trading, wire fraud, money laundering, conspiracy. These guys weren't just looking at a slap on the wrist, they were facing decades in federal prison, all while thousands of furious investors were lining up to sue.
The trial that followed was an absolute spectacle. On one side, you've got the prosecution slamming down hard, undeniable evidence, intercepted emails, mathematically impossible trading records, and devastating testimony from former employees. And on the defense side, well, their lawyers tried to keep the illusion alive. They argued that the trades were totally legal, just the result of highly sophisticated market analysis and those genius AI algorithms.
Spoiler alert, the jury didn't buy it for a second. It only took a few days of deliberation to hand down guilty verdicts across the board. The judge handed out incredibly lengthy prison sentences and crushing financial penalties. But crucially, authorities actually managed to recover millions in frozen assets to pay back the eligible victims. It served as a pretty powerful reminder, didn't it? No matter how complex your algorithm is or how deep your offshore accounts are buried, absolutely no one is above the law.
Finally, Part 6, Lessons for Investors.
So what's the real-world takeaway from this crazy story? Because these tactics, they are very, very real. Here is your ultimate protection checklist to make sure you never fall victim to something like this. Number 1, never trust guaranteed profits. The market goes up, the market goes down. Guarantees are a myth. Number 2, do your own research on investment firms. Number 3, always verify their licenses with official government databases. And lastly, diversify. Please, never put all your eggs in one basket, no matter how much they hype up their magic AI algorithm.
I want to leave you with one final question to chew on today. If an investment sounds way too good to be true, is it really worth the risk? In the finance world, your knowledge is literally your best armor. Take the lessons we unpacked in this explainer and use them in your own life. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today to break down this wild fraud anatomy. Keep asking the tough questions, demand transparency, and never stop learning. Catch you next time.